So please welcome this week's special guest, Matt. Joe, what is Matt to you?
This is Matt. After I made his life hell on the Strictly tour, he took revenge by gelling my hair with Marmite.
Steph, how do you know Matt?
This is Matt. Together, we once threw some knickers at Jennifer Saunders.
Lee, what is your relationship with Matt?
This is Matt, and when he broke both his arms, I used to pop round his house and scratch his itches with a knitting needle.
So there we have it. David's team, where do you start?
OK, Joe, what was Matt's role on the Strictly tour?
The Strictly tour is where the people who've been on the show go around the country and you have competitions.
Yes, it's like a little mini competition within itself, and he was one of the hair and makeup guys. So they'd arrive before we did and set everything up on the makeup table. Yeah. So I would get there before he did, hide underneath and wait for ages. He'd come along, set stuff up, and I'd grab him by the ankles and film it. Obviously.
Oh, and film it.
Film it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I do it quite a lot. Behind curtains, behind, like, stages, everything. I just try and get a montage of making Matt jump.
Oh, so started off with ankles under the table and then it escalated into full assault.
Massive. So he had enough towards the end, and we did this one number where I had to have a mohawk for our dance. And then on the last show, he got an empty wax pot and put a whole tub of Marmite in there and used that on my mohawk.
You could smell it? No.
So I couldn't at the time because there's so many other different products and stuff around.
And did half the audience absolutely love it?
Did it work?
It held it, yeah. Because I didn't notice until we got out there, and then we could both smell it because we left the backstage bit.
Oh, it's horrible. Imagine picking up your partner and getting that yeasty smell.
After you'd done the dance, so you then realised it was him. What happened then? Did you confront him? Did you see him?
We just had a moment of, like, well done, you got me. But then, obviously, he doesn't want to lose his job, so he had to rinse it out afterwards.
Well, you can get sacked for japes, can you?
What's japes?
Japes.
What's japes?
Japes, you know, practical jokes.
Oh, yeah, well, I think so, yeah.
Well, you're grabbing his ankles. How come you didn't get sacked?
Because I was...
A star.
You're the star. All right, who would you like to go to next?
So, Steph, this knicker throwing.
Yeah, Matt and I threw knickers at Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer, right.
Where?
They were nuns and they were trying to get you out of the garden.
Liverpool.
Empire?
Yeah.
Never give them options.
What was the show? What was the show called?
French and Saunders.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good. I'd like that. I've heard of it.
I have to ask, why were you throwing pants?
Because Matt and I are big fans of French and Saunders, and we thought that would be a creative way to get your attention and tell you that we think you're brilliant.
Did it get your attention?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Right.
But the windmill got your attention.
Pardon?
The windmill.
What windmill?
What's that?
So we decided, as a backup, we'd also make windmills with your face on. So we made one of Don French and one of you.
Can I just check, is this going to end in a restraining order?
What sort of windmills?
Like, you know those things you put in your garden or you get on the beach or whatever?
So not a windmill?
No, not
one
like...
of those little
Throw a whole
things.
windmill at somebody.
I think we understood that it wouldn't grind grain.
Into the show, we threw the knickers, and then when we realised that hadn't worked, then we went backstage and waited for you. That's the stage door.
When you say worked, what were you expecting to happen?
Just like to, I don't know, just to...
Be invited backstage. Who threw those knickers? Would you like to go out for a drink?
Yeah, but I was a teenager, you know. There wasn't social media and things back then, so we couldn't tweet you and say anything, or...
This is what it was like before the internet. When before vlogging or Twitter, you had to write a message on a windmill and throw it at someone. Life was so simple.
That's what Grindr used to be.
We weren't trying to chat them up. We were just trying to show our, you know, appreciation.
So the windmills had their faces on, and the idea with the windmills is that you'd hand them over.
Yeah, and just go, we love you.
Here's a windmill with your face on it.
The international language
that's
of love.
charming.
Yeah.
That is charming.
Here's a windmill, not
Yeah.
here's a windmill, now can I have a selfie?
I think,
that's
it's better.
quite
It's
nice.
better than the pants.
It is quite nice, Jennifer, but if it's true, the sad ending to this, that all this effort she made and you have no recollection of it whatsoever.
How do you know Matt?
We grew up
yes.
together.
How would he say the word poor?
Actually, he's turned a bit posh now, so...
Okay.
So he wouldn't say it at all.
Yeah.
So, Lee...
Can you remind us, Lee?
Yeah, this is Matt, and I used to pop round to his house when he broke both his arms so I could itch him with knitting needles.
Yep. Now, on what basis should we believe that?
Because if it's not true, there's a chance she's been throwing windmills at people.
How do you know Matt?
Who's Matt? Oh, this fella?
Yeah.
Oh. I do a show called Would I Lie to You? And a few seconds ago, he just walked on stage. And since then, we've become really good friends. I know Matt because... I was going to say we went to school together. I've changed my mind. I used to take him to school. And I'd drop him off because he's my son. That'll do. He's my son. I know Matt. I don't actually know Matt very well. I play five-a-side football with the local dads, and he plays sometimes. He's one of the sons of one of the fathers. And so I know him a little bit, just to say hello. Yeah. So I say, hello, Matt. And he never waves, but we know why I know. And I felt a bit responsible, if I'm going to be honest, about the breaking of the arms. And so I felt the least I could do is pop round and see how he is. And so...
Why did you feel responsible?
Well, I broke his arms. And I think that was it.
How did you break them?
I was reversing in my car. And he was up a ladder.
OK.
And he was putting me off, so I thought, I'll have him. Just nudged the ladder gently. And so I didn't really break his arms, gravity did.
Where was this ladder, Lee?
It was from the ground up to where he was painting a window ledge.
So what chain of events led to you going into his home and scratching his itch?
A few days later, after the incident, I was playing football with his dad, and I felt bad, and, you know, I even said, does he want to play? He doesn't have to go in goal. And... He said, no, he can't play. He's in agony. And so I said, I'll pop round and see how he's getting on. And so I knocked on the door. And he answered the door, and that was awkward.
How did he answer the door?
It's not dignified seeing a man opening the door with his teeth. Especially with a glass window. He was all squat, all his nose. So I said to him, is there anything I can do? He says, I've got a terrible itch. And I said, well, it must be horrible under that plaster. He went, oh, no, bad news, that's not where the itch is.
So you got the knitting needles?
Got the knitting needles, one up the arm, and I did everywhere. I gave him the full scratching treatment.
And how many times did you return to the house to scratch him?
How many times? I would say in total 12. It wasn't just to, obviously, you know...
On 12 occasions, you returned to the house?
a few times, because he couldn't go to the toilet either.
So you were essentially a full-time carer?
No. His dad would help out sometimes.
Right, OK.
But I felt responsible, and it was...
You were responsible.
I felt responsible.
How is Matt now? Is he fully recovered?
Well, he hasn't moved his arms, I've noticed.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Matt Joe's pranking pal, Steph's lingerie launcher, or Lee's plastered patient?
I think it's Lee.
I was there!
Let's put Lee aside for now.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely?
I don't think Marmite would hold. I think it's sloppier than that.
You would smell it straight away as well, wouldn't you?
And it is a risky thing for someone to do to a star, isn't it? I think it's Steph.
I think it's Steph.
It'd be great to go for Steph, because if it's true, it's
true,
lovely.
it'd be great,
and if it's
wouldn't
false, it's brilliant that you think it's her.
Yes.
So you're going to go for
Yeah.
Steph?
We think it's Steph, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Matt, and together, Steph and I, through knickers, with Jennifer Saunders.
Yes, Matt is Steph's lingerie launcher. Thank you very much, Matt.